A good evening to you all, and thank you very much for joining us here on Rwanda Television News tonight. We hope you had yourselves a very productive Thursday. Now, at the top of our headlines, let's take a look at them. President Paul Kagame has urged newly sworn-in senators to work with the concerned authorities and institutions to ensure that Rwanda continues to develop despite prevailing challenges. The Sports Biz Africa Forum kicked off in Kigali on Thursday. We're glad to have you in company tonight, coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali. My name is Martina Abera. As we kick things off, let us inform you that President Paul Kagame has urged newly sworn-in senators to work with the concerned authorities and institutions to ensure that Rwanda continues to develop despite prevailing challenges. We have more on this report.
The 20 senators took their oath in the presence of the President of the Republic, joining another 6 whose mandate will end in 1 year, and the head of state reminded them of Rwanda's uniqueness.
Rwanda dufite ibintu byinshi by'umwihariko.
Rwanda has many unique features stemming from history, politics, our location in the region, and the fact that we are landlocked. That spurs us to do everything in our power to be able to work hard and live well, to develop and achieve our aspirations. The Senate therefore plays a big role in that, especially when there is collaboration with other institutions. That collaboration enables us to address otherwise very difficult problems, even those that appear not to have solutions. However, when we properly consider Rwanda's situation, even they are resolved. The head of state also stressed that no one is to be left behind in Rwanda's drive towards long-term development. Addressing national challenges must be a priority, and that means not one Rwandan must be left behind. That means all Rwandans must see themselves in the solutions being found and even play a role in addressing the country's problems. They must not be merely beneficiaries, but partners in such initiatives. That is something we must constantly remember and remind each other so that we continue to develop and not backslide in our responsibilities and other things that we may strive to achieve.
Dukomeza gutera imbere tutaba twasubira inyuma mu nshingano zacu cyangwa ibintu dushaka kugeraho.
His Excellency Paul Kagame also commented on the issue of local solutions being found only after those affected have posted their grievances online.
Ibintu byo kujya tubona ibibazo.
It is fortunate that we now have the internet, but to become aware of the challenges people in rural areas are facing through social media sites and news networks is not right. People should not have to call for help in that way. We should be aware of such things beforehand. That is the reason the Senate and other institutions exist. It is not just about finding you sitting in this building. We must go to the people so that their issues get to us directly.
Direct.
Following the swearing-in ceremony, committee members within the Senate were elected, with Dr. François-Xavier Kalinda once again becoming the Senate President, with the Vice Presidents being Soline Nyirahabimana and Alvera Mukabaramba.
Iyi Sena ifite abasenateri bakoze imirimo itandukanye.
This Senate has members with extensive and varied experience fulfilling different duties in our country, with the required knowledge and demonstrated skills. I therefore do not doubt that this Senate will meet our people's requirements and deliver what is expected. Working together, let us strive to deliver to Rwandans what is expected of us as senators. Your Excellency the President of the Republic, in my duties I will give priority to teamwork and value counsel. I will give priority to working with the different institutions in our country so that the government's objective of accelerating development can be achieved. I will take advice and give it and listen to the wishes of the people so that the Senate can truly play its part in resolving the different challenges our country faces.
Izagire uruhare rukomeye mu gukemura ibibazo bikomereye igihugu cyacu.
The Senate is made up of 26 members, 53% of whom are female.
The East African Court of Justice has begun its hearings in the case of the charges against Rwanda by the neighbor, the DRC. Our colleague Eddie Sabiti is in Arusha to follow the proceedings and explains exactly what the allegations are.
Now, in this case, we have the main accusation from Congo. This case has been filed a couple of months ago, and Congo accusing Rwanda for being responsible for over 25 years of the insecurity and every atrocities related to this for the last of 25 years. Now, citing a number of rebel groups that were created starting from the RCD in 1998, citing the CNDP in 2009, citing the M23 1 and 2, saying that Rwanda has been backing these rebel groups, and therefore Rwanda has to be responsible, has to be held accountable for the insecurity and all the atrocities in the eastern part of Congo, knowing that this is a region where we have over 200 armed groups. Now, Congo in this file is citing different reports made by either UN experts, citing Human Rights Watch, citing different civil society reports, Congolese civil society, and of course citing other organizations. They even went far by citing one of the US senator who has been accused very recently of corruption, being his letter has been considered in the file of what Congo is accusing Rwanda. Now, Rwanda today, the question was about either the court has the competence of proceeding with this case, and again there is also the timeline. The timeline, Congo being a member of the East African Community very recently, and many of the accusations that are against Rwanda in this file are, over or beyond the time Congo became member of the EAC. Will the court consider this, knowing that this cannot be considered, considering the timeline? And again, there is also some of the lawyers that were representing Congo today. Some of them could not show the appointment letter from the government of Congo. This is a very serious hindrance, to proceed with this case, according to the lawyers on the side of Rwanda. And there is also Rwanda raising the case of not having certifications for the documents, certification of translation, because some of the documents are filed in French and other languages, knowing that the court, the language that is used by the court is exclusively English. So these are some of the hindrances on the side of Rwanda that for Rwanda, this cannot help or cannot be overlooked to proceed with the case. So for sure, the court today, led by Honorable Justice Masara Yohan, has said they are going to take a few hours, a few days for them to rule, to come up with a ruling, saying either the court, now we are going to go deeper into this case, or the case will be simply ruled out because of some of the hindrances that the side of Rwanda has raised during the hearing today.
Thank you, Eddie Sabiti, for that. This evening, Rwanda welcomed the 19th group of refugees and asylum seekers from Libya. The permanent secretary of the ministry in charge of emergency management highlighted how this initiative has provided a durable solution to the refugee crisis. Ndeye Aisatu Masek Ndiaye, the UNHCR country representative in Rwanda, reiterated Rwanda's commitment and capacity to ensure the safety and well-being of the refugees.
They are given an opportunity to feel safety from the struggles that they went through in Libya, and then after, with the partners, with stakeholders, we start working on a durable solution. You know, they have three options. Most of them, they choose to continue their routes to a third country. They can also choose to stay here in Rwanda and integrate as a refugee. That is integrated in the Rwanda community. They can also, after, choose to go back in their countries of origin. So what we do is to facilitate that process to get to durable solutions.
This is not the first time, as you say, this is the 19th convoy. So since 2019, Rwanda has been receiving these asylum seekers, and we are very happy, appreciative, and grateful for this. Of course, it constitutes a safe place for them because they are coming from Libya, where they don't have any assistance that are given to them, and they are in a very insecure place, coming from detention centers, living through trauma, a lot of trauma and conditions that are very difficult. So when they arrive here, we just saw them when they arrive at the plane. Very happy, very relieved. So we are very, very grateful for such opportunity that is given to these people who will find a durable solution. And Rwanda is offering all that opportunity for them. So we are very grateful about that.
This is the 19th group of 119 refugees and asylum seekers who has landed in Libya have arrived here in Kigali this evening. They are comprised from 5 countries, including Somalia, Sudan, South Sudan, Eritrea, and Ethiopia. Adam Squizera reporting live at Kigali International Airport.
The SportsBiz Africa Forum kicked off in Kigali on Thursday. Experts, sports and business personnel affirm that there is a need to foster investment in sports infrastructures for the sector to contribute 2% of the continent's GDP from 0.2% currently. Prince Manzi with more.
43-year-old El Hadji Diouf, a Senegalese former footballer, with a race that Rwanda puts more emphasis in investing in sports infrastructures, which for him should be done in many African countries. El Hadji Diouf is participating in this 3-day forum in Kigali aimed to harness the economic potential of the sector and spur development on the continent. I actually came here not long ago, and now I came back and I see that things are changing. It shows that you have a real leader. He showed the youth that it is theirs to take the responsibility because the sports infrastructures are there. That's where the youth take the responsibility, work hard, thinking about what they are doing for Africa, not the other way around. You have young people who are capable and on the way ahead. I once again appreciate His Excellency Paul Kagame, the President of the Republic, for what he is doing for the youth, his country and the African continent.
Qui n'arrête pas de mettre les moyens pour sa jeunesse, pour son pays et pour le continent africain.
Salima Mukansanga, an international football referee, and Christina Palace of Johan Cruyff emphasize on women's need for being skilled for an inclusive development of the sports sector on the continent. Women constitute a big number, especially in Africa. It is key for them to be skilled. Women are able, but there's need that these opportunities be brought closer to them. For excelling in sports, it also requires being educated.
We're covering 4 very important topics. One is revenue in sports facilities. Another topic is sustainability in sport. We think that sustainability in general is key in the world. Then we have sponsorship in sport, how to activate it and how to measure it. We will cover sport tourism. We think that, how sport events impact in the economy of the hosting cities is super important. Also because it has a huge economic impact.
Some of the investors in the sports sector reiterate that investing in sports is to expect a big return.
We don't have enough investment going into the grassroots. We don't have enough investment going into the development of talent. Usually, our corporates, our government, they want to identify with the elites, with the successes, those who are the top. But very few of them find value in investing in the development. So this is what we need to change.
Neri Mukazaire, the permanent secretary at the Ministry of Sports, affirms that investment in sports in Rwanda is not limited to infrastructures.
The country has a broad vision when it goes to sport development, and it looks at 3 flagship areas, one being the talent development, investing in sourcing, but building the capacity of the talent we have in terms of skills and in terms of their physical capacity to be athletes. And the second one is also to invest in infrastructure. You have seen it over the past 5 years. The government has been investing in huge infrastructure, but also infrastructures that are going to be accessible to the mass and to the young people. And then I'll mention particularly programs like academies. We have PSG Academy, Bayan Academy, but there are also programs like Isonga program. These are programs that look at grassroots development of talent. The third one is the linkage of sport with tourism. A sport is also a job opportunity area, is a business opportunity, is an investment opportunity, and hence also a tourism opportunity. So all those 3 areas are key in the vision of our country in terms of sport development, and those are the visions that are guiding us.
The Africa Development Bank projects that the sector will grow by 4% in the short and medium term, and with a mere contribution of only 0.5% of the continent's GDP compared to over 2% of the global GDP.
Thank you, Prince Manzi, for that report. The Eastern Africa Police Chiefs Corporation, in collaboration with the UN, has launched a project for law enforcement agencies meant to promote gender equality, dubbed Empowering Every Badge. We have more on this report.
Though the initiative is eventually to reach a total of 14 countries, it has initially been launched in 5 countries, including here in Rwanda.
So the importance of this project of Empowering Every Badge is to allow women and men at all levels of law enforcement, whether they're police officers or prosecutors or judges, to have the same access and opportunities to rise to higher levels of leadership positions. We think that this in total will allow for more accessibility to women and young girls in the fields of law enforcement, and also make the law enforcement agencies be more accessible to communities.
Police officials here in Rwanda have emphasized the importance of the initiative.
The project that is launched today aims at promoting gender equality and gender parity, but mainly encouraging women to participate in various leadership positions of law enforcement agencies and criminal justice in the countries that are members of Eastern Africa, including Rwanda. And this project today is being hosted by Rwanda National Police, but was organized in partnership with UNODC, UN Women, YAPCO, and the KICD. KICD is the very center at which we are today.
A call has also been made for the participation of men in the initiative for the benefit of all, not just women.
To thank the government of Rwanda for hosting this very important initiative, the launch of our project, which is called Empowering Every Badge. The context in which we have developed this project is because we believe that it's important to mainstream gender and have women in senior leadership positions. especially in the law enforcement agencies. As an organization that works on drugs, crime, terrorism and corruption, the role of women is central to it. But gender mainstreaming is not only about women, it's about really looking at the differential roles that men and women can play in order to make sure that we're able to support the communities in being able to prevent, prosecute, and to be able to look at due diligence to justice.
The project will be comprised of 2 phases, each lasting 1 year. The countries that have initially seen its launch are Rwanda, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Djibouti, and Seychelles.
The network of international non-governmental organizations in Rwanda has officially launched the new strategic plan for the coming 5 years, supporting the second national strategy for transformation in Rwanda. Enora Gladys with more.
In order to provide international non-governmental organizations working in Rwanda with a platform for networking and advocacy, as well as to boost their combined influence in aiding the national's socio-economic transition, the network of international non-governmental organizations in Rwanda was established in 2005, with 25 members in all. NINGO remains a vital resource and important mediator between the Rwandan government, development partners, private industry, local civil society, and stakeholders engaged in Rwanda's sustainable development. The head of political parties and civil society department in Rwanda Governance Board, Mrs. Judith Kazayire, appreciated the collaborative efforts between NINGO and the government in achieving several milestones of NST1 based on the needs of the Rwandan citizens.
I would like to say that the collaborative efforts between NINGO, the government, and the local organizations in achieving significant milestones of NST1 and also based on the needs of the citizens is key, because we talked about diversity, we talked about your involvement in education, in health, in promoting gender equality, in promoting environmental protection and conservation, in promoting economic empowerment, in promoting climate resilience. And all that combined together really very impactful in enhancing the livelihoods of the community. I would like to say that we at RGB, who also receive your reports, I think we are a unique partner, because when you want to exist, we will facilitate and accredit all the organizations, but also we enjoy the opportunity that we receive all your reports, and we are able to see the kind of impact the work of these organizations is making in making sure that there is an improvement in the livelihoods of the society.
The chairperson of NINGO in Rwanda, Mr. Jeffrey Kayonde, emphasized that they are more concerned about impactful programming as their overall goal and to improve the economic standards of people.
Impactful programming is what we are looking at. At the end of the day, we are looking at the impact that we are making in the life of the lowest person. The slogan here is Muturaje Kuisonga. So whatever we do, we should see that our collective effort is elevating an individual from one level to another level. And at the end of the day, we are not entirely looking at handouts, but sustainable development, where a beneficiary, a partner, a person that is receiving our assistance is moving from being a recipient to an active player in the day-to-day life, economic life of this country.
Mrs. Libby Miles, the vice chairperson of NINGO, mentioned that NINGO was very impactful in different sectors such as health, economic, education, and other effective partnership and collaborative participation in policy making in the past years, and their contribution to the government during the pandemic of COVID-19.
We're collectively active in a whole range of sectors, notably agriculture, health, education, and also in cross-cutting areas such as women's empowerment and gender equity. And so NINGO, as a collective of INGOs, was able to contribute really proactively during this time. For example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, by contributing our vehicles and our drivers to support the National COVID Task Force. Also, NINGO, through the coordination internally and also with Minima, has been able to support the response to crises. For example, the eruption of Mount Nyiragongo and the subsequent earthquakes, and the following tragic flooding, we were able to contribute collectively. Every year, Ningo has joined together with Rwanda Civil Society Platform and RGB to commemorate the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, and our members' contributions have always been used to support survivors and also to conserve the memory of those families entirely wiped out.
Ningo occupies a unique space in the development landscape of Rwanda as a convening forum for international NGOs operating in country over the last several years. Ningo has increasingly been recognized by the government and development partners as a key interlocutor for the development sector in terms of advocacy and engagement on key issues. Enora Gladys, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Enora Gladys, for that report. The African Center for School Leadership has brought together high-level stakeholders, including policymakers and educational experts, in Kigali as it marks the end of the foundation phase of their project. William Evans Mutabazi has more.
The African Center for Leadership, SCSL, which is a coalition of partners in Africa, committed to the promotion of effective school leadership by bringing together partners that offer professional development services, gathered different stakeholders today to share reports and insights about their work over the past year, and also to share recommendations for the future of school leadership in Africa.
The idea of this foundational phase was to learn from at least 3 countries, and those include Kenya, Ghana, and Rwanda. In each country, they had already school leadership practices, from institutional development to professional development, research, and other type of practices. So there have been studies in each of those countries that have helped us to see some of those good practices. The problem is always how you escalate from a pilot phase to and scale it up. So what we are learning, therefore, is that yes, there are some good practices. School leadership has shown clearly linkages with learning outcome. The question is, therefore, as we end this foundational phase, is to look into how we scale the good practices.
An official from the Ministry of Education applauded the foundation phase, saying it greatly aligns with where Rwanda's education journey is headed, and their goal is to bring on board and learn from as many players on the continent as possible.
As a country, as Rwanda, we have been doing a lot of initiative under our Rwanda Education Board to support professional development along school leadership. So this is key. We are here to celebrate some of the achievement around the foundation phase, but we still have much to do. This is a Pan-African movement. We want to make it African. We have a idea in the room. So we want from one another. We started with 3 countries. We started with Rwanda, Kenya, and Ghana, putting together our experiences, learning from one another, but want to expand, want to make it African. So school leadership is the way to go. Where you have good school leaders, you have good student performance. So there's no question about it.
Effective leadership is among the mandates of VVOB, Education for Development, and according to Ms. Nuria, this is the beginning, since there has been a lot of improvement and achievements ever since they started supporting Rwandan government.
This end is a beginning. I mean, from VVOB, we are ready to continue the African Center, and we are ready not only to continue in Rwanda and in Kenya and Ghana, that has been the target countries during the foundational phase, but also we are looking at other countries that have expressed their interest to improve the effective school leadership policy framework in their countries. So we are already collaborating with other African countries, and we also expect to continue growing and to increasing the network, because here is a matter of, if you have seen the last session, there are many similarities coming from Ghana, coming from Kenya, coming from Rwanda. So those similarities, I think, are the lessons learned to be able to be scale up not only at national level but at regional level in Africa. So this is where we are now. So we expect to continue working together, and we expect for the African Center to be a long-term organization that can support the governments and the governmental agencies to develop policy frameworks, to develop continued professional development for the school leaders. And then, for instance, at the end, the last of our goals is to improve the quality of education and to enhance the learning outcomes for all the children and all the young people here in Africa.
The African Center for School Leadership is looking forward to facilitate overall learning outcomes by investing heavily in school leadership. The center will look into 3 areas of importance. First is to be able to conduct research on what works, develop professional development, and advocacy. William Evans, Mutabazi, RwandaTV News.
And on that note, on behalf of the news production team as well as the technical team, would like to thank you very much for sticking with us on RTV News. I who brought to you the news is Martina Abera. Stay safe and have a great night.